Good morning, folks. It's the 2nd of April, and our weather's taking a typical April change. We went from well above freezing to today 40 to 50 kilometer-hour winds and a little bit of snow. Tonight it's supposed to go down to -10, and I think the high tomorrow is -5. The sap is still running, and actually it's turned out to be a bountiful year in the maple bush. Hi folks. Well, what started out as a blustery, snowing April 2nd morning has turned to an absolutely beautiful day. We've got blue sky, it's nice and warm, probably 8 or 9 degrees, and we've got a nice little breeze blowing. And over the hill in a beaver pond I can hear some frogs peeping. And last night when we came home, it was the first time we've heard frogs since last year actually. So that's always a harbinger of spring weather for us, even though the weatherman's calling for the temperature to dip down into the -10 range for the next couple of days. Anyway, so behind me are two piles of wood. That pile that hopefully you can see over there are the logs. I separated the logs and the limb wood, and over here should be the limb wood. I'm going to cut them all up today into blocks, and then another day I'll bring back the wood splitter and split it all and throw it into a pile. And that will be our firewood, hopefully for a couple of years. Hi folks. Well, it's lunchtime and I've got a tiny little fire going here. Anyhow, here I am. I've toasted my favorite peanut butter and jam sandwich. Got a cup of tea on the go. Oh, and it's just a beautiful day. I can hear the frogs and the wind has died down a little bit. And I'll be done cutting firewood today. I want to show you something that I bring to the woods with me each time I come. It's an old 22. It's actually it's an Etonia 22. And you can see the name right there, Etonia, 2.2 long rifle. This 22 was given to me by an older fellow I used to work with. About 20 years ago I worked in the marine industry, and one of the crane operators, Cliff was his name, he was 84 years old and still operating cranes on barges and dredges and in the yard. And one day he said to me, "Paul, I've got an old 22 I'm going to give you." And he was born in Manitoulin Island, and he'd had this as a boy apparently in Manitoulin Island, and I think it was given to him. So long after I left the marine company, I got a phone call one day. There was something in the yard for me to pick up, so I drove down, and here was this cardboard tube, and it was really heavy. One end was a little flattened. Well, inside was this 22. Cliff had stuffed that so tight full of newspapers and taped it all up with masking tape and mailed it down to the yard. And I have appreciated it so very, very much. It's got some dings on it. It's got some initials scratched in. I can see a K. It's like an AW. Possibly an NT further down, and some other letters. M possibly. The stock has been broken and been epoxied back together. But you know what? I think all those marks and things just give it character. It's for a little tiny short-barreled gun that probably never saw a bore brush in its life. It shoots quite well. But I appreciate it so much that he thought of me and mailed it to me. I hope someday to have a grandson to give it to. My daughters have both shot it. Anyhow, it's got great sentimental value for me. Well, it's 5:30. Time for me to call it a day. If you look behind me, you can see I didn't get everything all cut up. I just ran out of chainsaw gas. I could get a lot more done between now and dark. I probably got a good hour and 15 minutes I could continue cutting, but I'm out of fuel. That's my mistake. I was in a big hurry to come back here this morning after the storm quit, and I didn't mix up any gas. Anyhow, I enjoyed the day. Hope you enjoyed watching, and we'll look forward to seeing you again on Out of the House with Paul.